Louis Tan actually recently spoke to comicbook.com about the new Mortal Kombat movie. And he said, quote, "Let me say this. There were some days on set I felt sick. I'm not kidding. They did not hold back." So, and this was in reference to the fatalities of the upcoming movie. So, what do you think, Yanni? Are we going to get some solid Mortal Kombat fatalities?
Honestly, I'm expecting that we do. Like, for some reason, they've thrown out everything Mortal Kombat apart from the gore. You know, so they are definitely going to focus on the gore in this movie. That it seems that that's what they want MK to be known for, because gore is okay in America, but you know, anything sexual or even just a woman showing her body is not okay, right? So I think the gore is going to be the most consistent thing that we're going to get with this Mortal Kombat movie. And I guess if he's saying this, then that's cool. That's good news, I guess. Like we're gonna get some pretty cool fatalities and such.
When you say they've thrown out everything on this movie Mortal Kombat related except for the gore, what else do you mean?
No. Sorry. To be clear, I mean about the Mortal Kombat series itself. As we've mentioned multiple times over the course of the channel, they have toned down the women's outfits to, you know, a lot more quote unquote modest, and that's one huge part of the series, which has been thrown out the window in favor of just going full on gore.
They've actually buckled down so much on the gore. I remember an article, I think maybe when Mortal Kombat X was coming out, from one of the developers who was actually said that he was experiencing PTSD from the amount of gore in designing fatalities and things like that.
Yeah, they were apparently watching videos of animals being torn apart or something, if I remember correctly. And there was a recent interview or something with Ed Boon, where he was asked, how can you take the fatalities even further, because it seems like you've reached the pinnacle of gore. And Ed Boon says, well, you know what, we can't. I also truly believe that we've reached that level, and so after this point, I don't think we can get any more gory.
The technology in Mortal Kombat 11 is so good that if I'm playing on my PC with everything maxed out, I actually don't like to perform the fatalities. The faces are too real, and then it looks like you're really ripping somebody's skin off and then playing with their intestines. So
see, that's the weird part for me. Many people say the same thing, and then for me, I have no issues watching it in a Mortal Kombat game, right? Because yes, it looks quite realistic, but at the same time, I know it's a game. Whereas if I watch a movie, like say a live action movie, one of those horror movies with gore in it, I cannot watch that. I really can't. It's like, ugh, you know, I can't do it.
That doesn't bother me. That's all fruit, like fruit syrup and corn syrup. So I'm fine with that.
So you're just weird.
Who's the weird one?
Which one of us is weird, guys? You let us know. No, but I think the fatalities have definitely reached a crazy amount of gore, and if anything, I feel the fatalities are actually a bit over the top. I miss the short fatalities, because I mean, even now, everybody's complaining when you're playing online that somebody's doing a fatality. It's like, I don't know how long it is. I have to time how long a fatality is, but let's just go with 30 seconds as compared to how it used to be 5 to 10 seconds, you know?
Well, the whole X-ray moves are full cinematic sequences now.
Yeah. So it's like a fatality within the fight when you use a fatal blow.
In Mortal Kombat 9, it was like a quick little thing, and then you were done.
Hits. It was about 2 hits, really. And it was like, I remember, say, Smoke, just 2 hits, done, you know? And it didn't feel like, yes, it was annoying in the sense that it's a, not cheat, what's the word? Just, you know, you're pressing 2 inputs and then you're getting a free 30% basically. Or it might have been lower in MK9. But at least it was short. In MKX, they took it further, and then in MK11, it goes on as, like, I literally, every time I'm fighting somebody online and they do a fatal blow to me, or a fatality, I pick up my phone, you know?
Well, I had the same problem with Injustice also.
Oh, God. The Flash, right?
Yeah, every time it was a whole cinematic sequence. Like Aquaman would summon a tidal wave, and then a shark would come, and then it would bite you, and then it would jump up into the sky, and you'd see your silhouette across the moon before it dove back in and threw you into Aquaman, who'd give you an uppercut, and then a bunch of piranhas would nibble on your fingers, and it was just so much.
It was too much, if anything.
Yeah.
Like, I want to play the game, not watch it, guys. But speaking of watching the movie,
going back to the movie,
I mean, one thing about Lewis Tan is he's apparently Johnny Cage.
No, he is an unnamed role at the moment. Everybody is suspecting that he's Cole Turner, which is
no. I really like Lewis Tan, man. I don't want him to get such a role. I don't want him to be Cole Turner.
The thing is too, like, there's also been rumor that Cole Turner's out of the new script, so he's still an unnamed role, but a lot of people are expecting him to fill that Cole Turner role in the leaked script that had came out previously. So we have yet to see.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Lewis Tan. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff he's been in, like Into the Badlands or Wu Assassins. You know,
yeah.
Really good actor and amazing in terms of martial arts. But I really hope the Cole Turner thing is not going to be something that they go ahead with, and if it is, I hope he's not him, because I really want him to get a proper role with an established character. Yeah, okay, they're doing a sort of reboot, but it might be a sort of retelling. He could be Kenshi for all we know, you know?
I mean, they're pulling in so many different characters outside of, you know, the main cast. Who was it that was cast?
Nitara.
Yeah, Nitara.
Very random, but I'm happy to hear it.
I honestly think that the character's going to be named Nitara, but I think that it's going to be like a one and done, like Fatalities performed on this character type of character.
Oh, I really hope not. Although, I don't know why, but I have something in my head where they mentioned that they're trying not to bring in characters that they're just going to get rid of immediately, that they're actually going to try and elaborate on them, but this could be off the top of my head. If you ask me to search for the article, I honestly don't remember where it's from, sorry. But it's just something that I think I remember reading. And I hope it's true, because I don't want, like, we've been asking for characters like Nitara for so long, and then, okay, yeah, it's like fan service, they turn up, but that's not what we want. Say, as a Rain fan, I don't want Rain to turn up and get fatalities. Like, watching him in Annihilation was such a kick in the teeth, because he got a hammer into the fire with Baraka's death animation as well, or death footage as well, right? Like, I don't want to just see him for the sake of seeing him. I want him in the movie or in the show or in the game. So it's the same thing with Nitara. If they're just going to bring her in to kill her off, then one of the huge points about Nitara is that she's from Veternus, right? An entire realm of vampires. We want to see that sort of stuff elaborated upon, rather than just being shown and then tossed out immediately. It's like a weird little tease, which nobody's really happy with.
The reason I think Nitara's going to be a one and done thing is because she's getting played by Alyssa Cadwell, and Alyssa Cadwell is a Australian native, like she lives in Australia where they were recording, but she's not known for her acting skills or anything like that. She's a professional aerialist, and does stunts and is a professional dancer, and teaches Pilates. So it's not like they're casting in somebody who has the acting chops, or casting somebody who has a lot of the physical chops. So I think they're probably going to use her for some sort of fight scene, or maybe even just a cameo. But either way, I don't think that she's going to be a major player in the Mortal Kombat movie.
That is a shame, and you're right, because she is, as far as we can tell, specifically a stunt actress. But I mean, for all we know, she could be actually getting into I don't want to say proper acting, that's unfair. I actually love stunt actors and actresses, but I think in a more traditional acting role with sort of stunts involved as well, right? So she could be going into that sort of role as well. But the other thing is that they might just be doing the action scenes right now and actually have somebody else in line to play Nitara in a speaking role.
That could be
a full-on acting role.
That's right. That's a good point. They could actually have her coming in to do the stunts and things like that, but have somebody else planned. But that being said, Greg Russo did announce that Elisa was going to be playing Nitara. So I think he wouldn't have done that if he didn't plan on her being the Nitara.
But then if that's the case, why is he going to make a big thing of announcing somebody to play a character who's been like requested for so long, only to kill them off immediately, you know?
I think it's just to say, hey, this person's here. You got him.
I'm hoping that they're just going to bring her in a full-on acting role as well, because I like when movies and shows sort of bring in these relatively unknown actors and let them, you know, sort of spread their wings.
That's not why. You just want Nitara in this movie. Let's just face it.
I must say, I'm not one of those huge fans of Nitara. I like Nitara. I think she has a lot of potential, especially in terms of the lore regarding her realm. But I could think of a million other characters I would prefer. Okay, not a million, that's an exaggeration. But I can think of a lot of other characters I would prefer over her. So say Serena, you know, and Serena would make perfect sense in this movie if it's going to be a sort of retelling of the origin. If we're going to have this whole thing with Bihan, right? So I don't know, like I'm happy Nitara's in there, but
hold on, you say this whole thing with Bihan, but there's no confirmation that Bihan's the central protagonist. I mean, we have the previous plot, and the central protagonist in that was Cole Turner. So,
yes, but we have Joe Taslim, and I don't think that he's going to be isolated to a very small role, especially as Sub-Zero.
I don't think he'll be underutilized, but I do think Lewis Tan is the main character in this movie. Whatever that character is.
Have they said who's playing Scorpion? Because I'm drawing a blank. I know who it is, but because I would have thought that Lewis Tan would be a perfect Scorpion.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Oh, yes, of course. Yep. But see, that's something that I find very interesting because, I mean, he's 59.
He is, but I think he's such a good actor. I don't think he's going to portray Scorpion the way that we see him in like Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat 1 through 4. We're going to see more of a
Samurai.
Mortal Kombat 11.
We're going to see Hanzo, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And he is cast, as far as I know, as playing Hanzo Hasashi / Scorpion.
But see, this is why I'm kind of intrigued by the choice to not say who Lewis Tan is playing, because Sanada would be perfect as Hanzo. I mean, I would love him full stop as Scorpion, you know? But I have a feeling that this is going to be a sort of Hanzo before he turns into Scorpion.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. So we do know we have Liu Kang, which is played by Ludi Lin. We have Joe Taslim playing Bihan Sub-Zero. We have Tadanobu Asano, and he's going to be playing Raiden. We have Jessica McNamee as Sonya. We have Makid Brooks as Jax. Josh Lawson as Kano. Chin Han as Shang Tsung. Max Huang as Kung Lao, which, including Kung Lao in the first Mortal Kombat movie, is interesting. And the most interesting, of course, is CC Stringer playing Mileena, which a lot of people are confused as why Mileena would be in this movie but not Katana.
I mean, in my opinion, she's sort of going to be playing both or something. That's probably how it's going to work.
I honestly don't know if she's going to, because a lot of fans have asked her about that, and she kind of, I mean, she doesn't give a straight answer on that question.
Well, she can't.
Yeah. But
that makes perfect sense.
I think if Katana was going to be in the movie, we would have heard about that casting before we would have heard about Melina's casting.
You would think so, but right now, what have we seen from MK11? Everybody cares more about Mileena than they do Katana.
True, that's a good point.
Honestly, I mean, myself, I've always been more of a Mileena fan as well. I guess purely because of the actual Sai, but then even the sort of development her character's had has always been very interesting. So I believe that Mileena has way more fans, and that's why they've chosen to sort of announce Mileena rather than Katana. Now the other side of the coin is that Katana could be off doing a different mission with Mileena sort of playing her role.
Another interesting thing is, I don't know if you knew this, but Lewis Tan played in a TV series called Mortal Kombat X Generations. Have you heard of this?
See, I have no idea what that is, and I remember doing a bit of research a long time ago because I was interested in checking it out, but I never got a proper chance.
I know absolutely nothing about this. And that's strange, because usually I do.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked too.
Like, I kind of wonder if this is what evolved into Legacies, but then Lewis Tan wasn't in Legacies.
Oh, I've got it. In 2014, Blue Ribbon Content were developing a live-action series that was to tie in with Mortal Kombat X for a planned 2016 release titled Mortal Kombat Generations. The series, however, was not released.
So it was actually recorded but never released.
Apparently. That just sounds like normal Mortal Kombat stuff to me, to be honest. It's always something that's not released.
But from what I can tell, they brought back in Casper Van Diem to play Johnny Cage again, which he played it in the Mortal Kombat Legacies.
You know, the whole Casper thing, like, what was the actor's name? The first Johnny actor from Mortal Kombat Legacies first season.
Oh, the first season? I forgot who that was, yeah.
Because I like Casper, I really do. But I thought that was, firstly, not cool to do to the first actor. And secondly, I thought the first actor was amazing as Johnny.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought he did a great job. I like both their portrayals, honestly. I thought they both did good jobs playing Johnny. Basically,
the actor for Johnny really had the martial arts skills.
Yeah, and you know, the same thing could be said for Shang Tsung's actor in season 1 of Legacies. I mean, I love that they brought Kerry Tagawa back for season 2, but it would have been nice to see the first actor morph into Kerry Tagawa Shang Tsung.
Yes.
Like, he's a shapeshifter, so why not give a little respect to the last actor that you had in the same series playing the same character.
Although, I mean, speaking of Legacy and I guess Taslim, one thing that I realized we didn't mention on our episode about Taslim is that Kevin Tancharoen was the director for Mortal Kombat Legacy, right? Now, Taslim is featuring in that series that I mentioned called Warrior, which is very good. I'm finally catching up with it, and I'm really enjoying it, which Joe Taslim is in. And he actually directed that show, too.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Kevin Takarian's... I'm always mispronouncing the name,
Kevin
but he's...
Tancharoen.
Yeah, he's directing Warrior?
Yeah, at least the first season.
Oh, that's really cool.
Like, I can't say that I like him because from what I heard about how he treated Mortal Kombat Legacy it was his step up into the world. And so he kind of dropped it after the season 2 dropped. And I'm not a big fan of that.
He started his career making music videos. And then, of course, he did the pitch for Mortal Kombat, which
was Rebirth.
Rebirth, yeah, Mortal Kombat Rebirth. And his intention with Rebirth was to get that picked up and develop a whole movie out of it, kind of the way that the Deadpool pitch was leaked.
Yes.
Yeah, Rebirth was leaked in the same way. And from there, Warner Brothers said, you know what, that's pretty good. You can do Legacies.
Yeah, but it's a shame because, I mean, I know that many other fans, including myself, really enjoyed Legacy. It was a different take on things, yes, but it was very cool. And to leave it, well, how it was left at the end of season 2 was kind of a shame. And from what I've read, Tancharoen just chose not to go ahead with it because he decided that other projects were more deserved more priority, basically, which is really a shame because as far as I can tell, Legacy was what kind of propelled him into the limelight, I guess, in this sort of role.
Yeah, that is really a shame.
But, I mean, Warrior's amazing, so thank you for that.
So, going back to the Mortal Kombat movie, one thing I did want to mention is, as most fans know, it is R-rated. And this is our first time getting an R-rated Mortal Kombat movie. Judging from this interview with Louis Tan, I'm expecting that the R rating is 90% just because of the gore in the movie and not so much because of the fighting. Because we've seen some good PG-13 fight movies come out, and that isn't usually what separates the two. Also, that being said, the original Mortal Kombat movie was intended to be an R-rated movie, but they wanted, of course, a PG-13 movie to bring in more viewers, so they cut some scenes and made it more kid-friendly.
Well, times are changing, so I'm sure the R-rated bit isn't really going to screw them over as much. But in my opinion, if you're going to do something like this, firstly, I always prefer series over movies. I really do. I think that they allow for the plot, the characters, everything to be elaborated upon in such a way where they can really get proper development, which you don't get to see in a movie because you have a certain length, right? And then on top of that, if the movie doesn't do well, then it's pretty much gone. Whereas at least a series has a better chance of doing well. Now, if you're going to do an R-rated movie, it's not going to perform as well as a non-R-rated movie purely because it's R-rated, right?
Right. It's a bold step making an R-rated movie because you have to make sure that the movie itself is good enough to pay and make back the money that was put into it.
Exactly. I just really wish they went with a series instead, to be honest, but I'm just happy we're getting MK content.
I think another Mortal Kombat series would be pretty amazing, but at this point the lore is so jumbled that I think that would jumble it up even more.
But I guess that's exactly why a series would be better than a movie, because the movie's not really going to be able to address much, and it's going to make a lot of retcons, which people are going to take as sort of MK lore gospel, right? Now, if we take an MK sort of series and do it in the same vein as, let's just go with a mainstream one, Game of Thrones. It was gory, it had sex, blah, blah, you know, like it and it still did well. It had this crazy mythos as well behind it until the last couple seasons, which were absolute trash. But it was able to actually really develop things properly. Yes, they left out a couple things from the books, a few things, but at least as a series, they were able to address many things and have this sort of time that they needed to address those things and develop them properly.
So I'm going to kind of end on this note. Greg Russo had previously talked about the live action movie, and he said, I think there's always a thin line, you know, you don't want to be over the top, right? With your violence, and I don't know that that's really going to put people off. I'm not sure that's even necessary. So you want to be truthful, but you also don't want to be so ridiculous and gratuitous that you may turn people off in the wrong way. So I just say that it's going to be faithful to the game and it's going to earn its R rating. I guess I'll say that. So Greg Russo's still saying it's going to be faithful and we're going to have an R-rated game. So we'll see what we get.
Well, let's hope then. I mean, the one thing that I can say for sure that I like about Greg Russo is that he actually interacts with the fans. That's more than I can say for NRS's team currently.
Oh, we're going to have to say that for a Tarkatan Bitesize episode in the future.
All right, well, thanks everyone for checking out this episode. Let us know what you think of the movie. Do you think it's going to be good? Will it be faithful? Are you happy with the casting choices? Let us know. Please like, follow, subscribe to stay up to date with our content. Thank you very much.